Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to Food Processing Skills Canada's Speaking Food webinar series. My name is Tracy Bernacki-Duza, and I am the Senior Project Manager at FPSC. Before we get started, I'd like to cover some webinar housekeeping, and then I'm going to introduce Glenn for you now. So Glenn Bostock's journey is a powerful testament to resilience, innovation, and human-centered leadership. Diagnosed with learning disabilities early in life and faced with adversity throughout his school years, Glenn transformed personal challenges into the foundation of an award-winning business, SnapCab, a North American manufacturer of customizable modular privacy pods and elevator interior panel systems, known for its sleek elevator interior and flexible office pods. What sets Glenn apart is his unwavering belief that failure is not something to fear, but a necessary step towards growth. This mindset has shaped SnapCab's company culture, one rooted in kindness, authenticity, and a deep commitment to being useful. It's a philosophy that has not only driven the company's evolution, but also created a workplace where people feel genuinely valued. Today, SnapCab employs over 140 team members across its US and Canadian operations, generating more than $30 million in annual revenue. To get a behind-the-scenes look at their people-first culture, check out their YouTube series, A Human Business, The SnapCab Way. Please welcome Glenn Bostock.
Hi, Tracy. Thanks so much for having me. So let me just get the presentation up here.
There you
go. So this has been quite a long journey for us. It's been a 25-year experiment. I've been in business for over 40 years, but about 25 years ago, we started what's now become the Human Business. And I know I'm online with a lot of really brilliant people, and I don't want to be like the person that, what I'd like to convey is that anybody, if you put yourself in the right environment, you can really achieve a lot. And in this business world that we live in now, I think now more than any other time is a good time to relook at how are we doing business and why do we do business the way we're doing it currently. So there's over 3 billion people these days making a paycheck, and 2/3 of them are disengaged. And the question is like, what is this costing the customers? And what about all these lives that are disengaged? We spend so many hours at work. Could you imagine? I'm sure a lot of people aren't imagining. They know the reality of having to go to work, waiting till the weekend, waiting till they retire. And why is this? Well, I can think of one reason why people are so disengaged at work. It goes back to the 1970s when an economist named Milton Friedman wrote a paper pointing out that the purpose of a corporation was to benefit its shareholders. And when you think about benefiting the shareholders first, basically I'm the shareholder of my company, and I know when I think about how do I make money off of my employees, you want to pay them as little as possible. How do I make money off my customers? I make very poor decisions. And when I think about what I believe business is really for, it's for benefiting the customer. And you want to include your workers in helping find their life purpose and spending time at work. That choice of valuing your employees leads to much better choices on the leadership team's perspective. So just to give you an idea what it's like at SnapCab, and I can already tell, I don't think I haven't been given the gift of being a public speaker, but I do think I'm here to be the person to run a company that is a good example of how you can run a company. So I hope you're viewing me going, what is it with this guy? He seems to be not perfect. I don't think anybody's perfect. But I think when you work as a team, as a group, we can come as close to perfect as you can. So here, why don't you meet some of our teammates and get a feel for what it's like at SnapCab?
Culture is our number one priority here at SnapCab, from the initial hiring on to everything thereafter.
When we say we're building a community of usefulness in the workplace, it means we're creating an environment where people consistently provide value to each other.
I've never worked at a place that has this type of culture. It's definitely something you want to be a part of, and it makes every day really a joy to work here.
The secret sauce to the company is that culture, is that community. And if you can have a group of people that all like each other, that respect each other, and that are kind to each other, and they can all go in the same direction, then you have something really powerful.
It's the people that I work with that really drive me in the morning. Here at SnapCab, we've got some really good core values that help us get through each and every day. Be kind, be authentic, and be useful. Not just alone, but all together, create a great SnapCab core.
We have this supportive community who can help you through the things that go wrong.
Being able to actually meet the needs of other people is a very satisfying feeling. And then everybody's doing it for each other. It's great.
And it's a really wonderful thing that you don't see very often in the business world.
It's an environment that allows them to take creative risks and build trust in a safe space so that they can do their best work.
At SnapCab, we do say that we offer a no-fear culture. Part of that is the way we capture those, we call it gamba. You know, things happen. We are all human. We make mistakes.
It completely removes the fear and the energy that would have been expended in assigning blame or covering yourself, making excuses, is redirected to improving the system that made the mistake possible.
Like, no one wakes up in the morning being like, I can't wait to cost this company like tens of thousands of dollars. I just can't wait. They all wake up wanting to come to work, bring their whole selves, do the job, do it well, and then go home happy, right?
What we tend to look for is your ruling love, the thing that you love to do. And we look for the place where that intersects with what SnapCab needs as a company.
They've been so accommodating in fitting the position to meet me. That allows me just to thrive and succeed, right? I've been very excited for that. It's been a great season of using my skills, but also being able to grow.
Yeah, I think what makes SnapCab kind of special is that we really are after what our employees think, and we want and value their thoughts.
We want the employee to come to work and it's not a job anymore. It's a fun place to be.
Really what having a job at SnapCab here means is like I'm willing to work together to build something better that I couldn't do on my own.
So I think John Richards there at the end said it really well. Doing something together means something, we can build something bigger than we can do on our own. And so I have two companies. We have 95 employees in the US, and we have close to 50 employees here in Canada. We do tens of millions of dollars in revenue. And, you know, I simply can't do this job. And I certainly can't do this job alone. So with a group of people, I feel like I can do the job. I spent about maybe 10 years trying to find somebody else who could lead the company, because I knew I had a great background in woodworking, but I never went to school for leadership. I didn't go to school for business. And the company was growing rapidly, and I tried to find other leaders, but they all took the company down a different path from where I thought the company should go. So I stepped back in and took over leadership. But the wonderful thing about companies is that they're like a community of people, and you can create that community to be the kind of community you want it to be. That's what's such a nice thing about owning a company. It's like getting to be a leader in over a group of people. And I'm going to tell you the story how this came about, but I'm a highly flawed person. I do have strengths. I've got a lot of weaknesses, but because of the people that I work with, we make up for each other. So we're reinventing how you what works looks like. And I can tell you that, yes, there are parts of my job I am good at, but there's a lot of parts of my job that I'm very, like if you graded me or if somebody was from the outside saying, is this guy the right person to be a CEO? I'd probably get a failing grade, but I'm not failing. And I was kind of curious with this group. This is an anonymous survey, but how many of you feel like you can do absolutely with no outside help? How many of you feel like you can do 100% of your job? So I think we have a little survey here. It'd be fun to do it. If you want to be a little vulnerable and say, yeah, there's parts of my job I'm not very organized, or I'm not good with email, or maybe I'm not the best communicator. Let's do a little survey here and get a feel to see if so the
right.
question is,
And I've launched the poll for you, Glenn. So
okay,
it
great.
says, what percentage of your actual job description are you able to achieve on your own? And we're getting responses in now. Give you maybe another 10 seconds or so. Numbers are still changing a little bit. Okay, looks good. We're going to end the poll. And here are our results.
Okay, wow. So I was offered to, when I did this webinar, Tracy offered this poll, and this is interesting, isn't it? So there's some people in some of their jobs that feel like they can't do all of their jobs. So we have quite a variety here, but the majority is people say they can do competently with no help 50 to 75% of their job.
Yep.
And that goes in line with our illustration here. And this is the neat thing about SnapCab and the human business that we're building, is that we intentionally know that there's parts of my job I don't like doing, I don't want to do, and I can turn to my coworker and say, hey, can you help me with this? And that somebody else's gift and somebody else's purpose in life may be very well the thing that helps you be able to bring your gift to work. So if you just think of this simple thing that we're all enabling each other to bring our gifts to work, and we nullify our weaknesses, what an amazing place that would be to work. Not only would it be a great life purpose, but it would be creating friends and a community. As you say, a friend in need is a friend indeed, you know. So anyway, thanks for that poll. I really appreciate it. Oh, it's out of control. All right. So how do we get a large group of people to act as one? And I remember originally trying to think about this. I was wondering, well, is it like a government? You know, what's the picture of what a company should look like? Is it a sports team? I know a government probably doesn't fit very well. I know most businesses probably act like a dictatorship where it's just sort of top down. The people in leadership just tell you what they want, not necessarily getting messages back so much. Sports team, a lot of people like the analogy of a sports team. You want the best people, don't you? So you should have people competing with each other so you get the best people in your company, right? But is that building trust between each other? If you're competing, do you build trust with your competitors if it's inside your company? I like the idea of having my company compete with my competitors in other businesses, but not inside of my company. So as you might guess, we went with an organism. I've got an organism. I'm wearing it right now. It's my whole human body. I've got my leadership team in my head with my brain. Sales and marketing is my face. You're learning about me through branding. I'm branding myself right now with my voice and with my face. My manufacturing is my hands. In my torso is the operations of my body. You know, I don't have to think about how to make the company go. Just like in my company at SnapCab, I'll get financial reports on an as-need basis, but generally there's a lot that goes on here that I'm not even aware of. So I think a human body, because you have to have messages coming and going, and every part of your body is connected to every other part. There's this homeostasis that makes it work. So an example here is the relationship between your heart and lungs. Your heart isn't trying to compete with your lungs. Your lungs doesn't want to be your heart. So there's a lot of ways you could say this, but we say your heart is essential to your lungs is essential to your heart. They're co-essential. Obviously, oxygenating blood that doesn't get moved around your body doesn't help. And moving blood, unoxygenated blood moving it around your body doesn't help either. They are completely unique and they totally are dependent on each other for each of them to get to have their purpose and do their job. And that's what I like to think of everybody at SnapCab. So how do you make this work? So we're working with Forbes books. Forbes saw the book that we were writing and they wanted to publish our book. They said, this is completely fresh, it's completely new, nobody's doing this in the business world. And they were saying, this is something that's needed now. So let me go through these 5 principles. You'll see the last principle is model your business after the human form. But to be able to do that, you need these first 4 things to happen. Let me go through them really quickly. Create a foundation of caring, understand your ruling love, focus on being useful, embrace problems and weakness. So you have to create a foundation of caring so that people can be themselves. When I was in school, I had a bunch of learning disabilities. My learning disabilities led me to being tutored for much of the day. When I was back in the class, I got nicknamed Reject and I had bullies picking on me. And I used to get hives. I could almost not function as a human being in the classroom. And it wasn't so much because I had learning disabilities, it was because how I was treated by my peers. When you're in an uncaring environment, your productivity is going to tank. On the other hand, when I was being tutored and they were teaching me at the speed I could understand it, they're giving me lessons in a format I could consume, I really excelled when I was being tutored. So I learned that a caring environment is essential, and I did not want to create a company where caring wasn't a part of the company because I didn't want to have people working unhappily in a low productivity environment because that's what I experienced in school. Understand your ruling love. When you understand what you love to do, what gets me up in the morning is getting to build a company. If you think about it, I don't know if you've ever thought about it, but if you can think about what is it that I really love to do? And one of the things that we want from people is a love of having friends and building a community. And then there's always something people in particular that they love to do. If you understand what that is, and then go on to number 3, focus on being useful. If you can combine what you love to do with something useful, especially for our customer, then that is like rocket fuel. And then my favorite is embracing problems and weakness. This is a self-awareness part. I've come to realize that we need problems to grow. I used to think if we did things just right, we would be, we wouldn't have problems anymore. Somehow problems just keep coming along. And I'm realizing, if it wasn't for the problems we have, we wouldn't be where we are now. I remember a friend of mine, when I was complaining to them about my school career, where I completely failed through my school career, he said, well, where would you be now if it wasn't for your school career? And I had to think, it's like, well, that's true. I wouldn't be successful in business because I got an amazing education of learning how to deal with failure and struggle. And then weakness, everybody has weaknesses. And we took that survey earlier, and I think this is a self-aware group to see, oh yeah, we're not all 100% able to do these jobs we all have. So we have weaknesses, but as a group, we can overcome our weaknesses. But nobody's going to help you with your weakness unless you're able to put it out there, be vulnerable and say, hey, I'm really disorganized, or I have trouble hitting deadlines. Can somebody help me make sure I hit my deadline? So once you can do those 4 things, now you can move on and run your business like the human form. Oh, sorry. So let me give you an example of that. So a gemba, that word gemba there you see, that's a Japanese word. It means the actual place. So I'm going to use the gemba on my body. I had an itchy ankle on my body. At SnapCab, we call that a turnback. Anything that hinders the flow of work is a turnback. Countermeasure. Well, I knew I had a itchy ankle because the management team of my nervous system sent a message up to my brain and said, hey, your ankle's itching. So then my brain sends a message down to my manufacturing, my hen, using my management team of my nervous system again, saying, hey, let's scratch the ankle. So I scratched my ankle. That's the countermeasure. We say countermeasures because we never quite get to the solution. You're just doing one countermeasure and then probably something else will happen. So sure enough, the next day, my ankle's still itching. The next countermeasure was to go to the doctors. Turned out the root cause was I had a rash, so I got some medicine. So that's how I figured that out. So if you'd like to see, I'd like to show you how that looks at SnapCab. We'll watch a little video on how the Gemba system works at SnapCab.
Gemba, a Japanese term meaning the actual place. It's a lean system we use at SnapCab to pinpoint what's going wrong. We call them turnbacks. Anything that turns you back from reaching your goal. It could be missing a tool or a glitch in the process. Thanks to our low-fear culture, employees are confident about sharing the mistakes they've made. Our simple process encourages workers to capture turnbacks on Post-it notes and add them to the Gemba board in their work cell. Every day, our leadership team conducts a Gemba walk, reviewing each board with the workers. While some small fixes happen on the spot, the Gemba boards are not a to-do list. Think of them more as a thermometer system, visually indicating the severity of the issues. By sorting turnbacks into categories, managers can quickly see where the biggest pain points lie in each cell. To encourage employee buy-in and maintain a low-fear culture, we've gamified the Gemba system. Every turnback an employee captures earns them a ticket. Once a month at our all-company meeting, the employee with the most tickets gets to spin a prize wheel. At SnapCab, we believe the ability to identify problems is one of our most valuable assets. We've seen incredible growth by blaming systems, not people, and rewarding for mistakes. After all, there's gold in those problems. We can't fix what we don't know is broken, and Gemba keeps our community united in our pursuit of continuous improvement.
So here's the question, is how do you get people to put up on a board what we call turnbacks, but it's really mistakes, and then invite the leadership team to come around and look at your mistakes? How in the world do you do that? I can tell you, it seemed very weird when we started this to put our mistakes up on the wall. Like, who the heck puts their mistakes up on the wall? What if somebody comes in and sees our wall of mistakes? Well, now I think we have at least 14 boards around the factory publicizing our mistakes that anybody can go up and look at. And the way we are able to do this is because those first 4 principles, and we look at, and then the idea of running like a human body, we're made up of cells, and like we all know, our cells have DNA in them, and the DNA gives you a blueprint of how your entire body is supposed to operate, and it's got special information of how you are specifically supposed to operate. And very simply, SnapCab's DNA is be kind, be authentic, and be useful. That's a summary of our 5 principles, and it's something that we invite people into the company with, invite people out of the company with. This is the thing that leads us. It's very clear. Believe me, you can ask anybody at SnapCab, what are your values? And they're using these every day. They're printed on people's shirts, they're posted around the shop, and they're in our language as we talk to each other. What happens if you're missing DNA? Well, sometimes, unfortunately, people have cells growing in them that are taking from your body, but they're growing out of control. They don't have focus with what the purpose of your body is. They're just growing in mass, stealing from the body. This is called cancer. It's disease. And I think everybody can probably relate to having some people at some point in your company history that weren't a fit, that weren't adding to the company, that weren't taking the company to where the company was meant to go. So we want to look out for making sure everybody has the DNA that we want. You know, that comes down to training and having values in the first place. Whether you use SnapCab's values or you have your own, everyone should have an idea of what the purpose of the organization is that you work at and what your values are, so they can know if they fit in there and you can operate as a single unit. I would like to offer to you as a gift, please take our values. Our values are here for everyone to use. And the root of our values is really, there's just three things you need to get anything done. If you think of our values of be kind, be authentic, be useful, being kind, that really relates to love or desire. You need to want to do something, have a desire. Being authentic relates to knowing the truth of something or knowing how to do something. So you need to know how to do something. So you need to want to do something, you need to know how to do it, then you need to go do it. Being useful is going and doing it. So the kind of the secret to life is wanting to do something, knowing how to do it, then going and doing it. An analogy I love and I live with every day is when the sun shines on me, I feel warm. That's kind of like kindness. I can see what I'm doing. That's knowledge. I can see what I'm doing, and I'm able to work around outside in my garden because I'm being useful now because I can see and it's warm outside. So I just like using the sun as a quick analogy on that. So another body system is the endocrine system. The endocrine system is what you use to grow as a person. So we grow at SnapCab mainly through two different ways: recruiting people and developing people. So we recruit people, and I'm going to show you a person that we recruited into SnapCab. And the way we recruit people, we're recruiting for our values and we're recruiting for what they love. And then we develop people by taking them through, every employee goes into a development meeting where we get to understand them better and they get to hear what useful things we need done at SnapCab, and can they align themselves more with something that they love to do, with things that need to be done at SnapCab. So here we have Stephen. And the way that it works, when you apply at SnapCab online, you'll see about, I think it's like 20 minutes of videos. It explains it explains the specific parts of the job that you would want to do, but then it goes into the company culture. And believe me, if you're not interested in the company culture at SnapCab, you're going to drop off those videos and not apply. But if you're interested, many people watch them multiple times and they're really interested in it. Then we ask the applicant to supply their own video back. So they supply a little short, like 2-minute video. And Stephen here applied. So I'm going to show you his application video in a moment here. Then he came on board and worked building the doors for our pods in the shop in the top photo there. Then on the right there, he had a development meeting where we discovered he absolutely loves doing summer camps. Part of his previous career was doing summer camps where he's making, fun games and activities for kids to do. And I was thinking, boy, I'd love to have somebody making activities for our employees and get them into training. So after only a year of working at SnapCab, we took him on a trip to Japan. He toured for a week at Japan, touring factories that supplied Toyota motor car, learning all about lean. And now there he is on the bottom right. He's our lean trainer. So let me introduce you. You can see Stephen's application video from him to us.
Hi, my name is Stephen Alberg. Before I answer your question about how I can contribute to SnapCab, I just want to take a minute just to encourage you guys on your presentation. It truly is unique. There's no other business I've come across that has multiple videos to watch that outline some of the history and really clearly articulate the culture of a business. Now, and so that's one thing. Really good job on the videos, but also just the values themselves, that it wasn't so business centered. It was very human centered. The value of being kind and being authentic are just so human, and it was refreshing to see in a business. And I got to be honest, part of it, the skeptic in me says, is it really true? Could it be all that? It sounds like one of those idealized businesses from a business book or leadership book. But it's truly a unique presentation. And so I just want to encourage you guys in that's really well done. What do I have to offer SnapCab? As you can see from my resume, I don't bring a lot of trade skills, not a carpenter or anything like that. But primarily my work has been in working with people. And so that's my experience. And I feel like I work well with a variety of people. That's kind of my background. And so I would bring a character. And I'm a man of integrity. I'm willing to work hard. I'm excited to learn new things. And excited to take my diversity of skills that I do have and use them to contribute to building something. Maybe it's a community, a business, but to work towards a goal with a group of people would be a dream. And so I just want to thank you for this opportunity to apply, and just encourage you guys in your continued work. Have a good day.
So there you have it. He said he didn't have any construction experience, but he ended up being one of our top craftsmen building the doors for our pods, which is one of the most difficult jobs that we have. He has a love of building community and of working with people. We were looking for a people person. We can train the skills people need, but you can't train people to have a love of working with each other. So we're hiring for that. Now, I would like to go into, so that's kind of human business in a nutshell. There's certainly a lot more to it than that. I'd like to take some time and let you know how we went from more of a normal business, old school business, to this more modern business of a human business. So let me tell you my story. I started in business when I was 23. I did excel at building things with my hands once I got out of school. I started a business with my wife as a cabinet maker, and I was just so thrilled to have people wanting to buy my cabinets. The only problem was we started to have kids, and I couldn't afford my own kids with my wife. So I ended up getting into the elevator remodeling business, same skills as you use for building cabinets, but there was a better market for it. So I didn't enjoy the work as much, but I really enjoyed building the system of building those elevators. The system I built, I ended up applying for a patent. And because I was struggling installing these things myself, I found a faster way to install them. Well, that way that I installed them attracted Otis Elevator. And what used to take Otis Elevator using their mechanics, when they used my parts with my elevator interior kits, it reduced their time from 4 days down to 1 day, which is significant. And they gave me a national contract. Well, now that I have a national contract, I'm having to go from being a craft manufacturer to an actual manufacturing company. And now I've got this growing team of people. And my skill set was in building things, not in managing people. And I had this one job we did where I was working with this guy named Bob, who made a job that went to Hawaii, or I'm sorry, he made a job that went to Mexico. And Bob skipped a quality process. And I thought, and when the job went to Mexico, it was rejected because it wasn't built properly. So we had to rebuild it. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do Bob a huge favor. I'm going to yell at him. I'm going to make him know not to skip those quality processes. So I yelled at Bob, my great idea, and it had a huge effect on Bob. Yes, he quit. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's my best guy. And it's like, wait a minute, this isn't what I was going for. He's not enthusiastic about working for me. So I realized that wasn't the way to go. And so I had to figure out a way to get Bob back. I ended up giving him a raise, got him back. And you know what? I was having multiple problems. I was having problems with my wife at home. I'm having problems with my employees because of the way I was viewing the world. I ended up getting a mentor named Peter, and he pointed out a bunch of things to me. One of them was people are led by what they love. And I'm like, well, I know for sure led by what I love. I love doing the work that I'm doing. I need to make more money. So then I need people like Bob to do the things that I want done so I can make the money. I'm really interested in what I'm interested in. And so I got thinking about, well, what would Bob love? Well, I know Bob loves working with his hands, and he doesn't love messing up jobs. So I started to look at the idea of like getting rid of punishing people. That does not work. If people are led by what they love, then why don't I manage people by what they are led by what they love? And I thought it'd be important to say what, a definition of love. A definition of love for me is being of use to another person for their benefit. And if you really want to supercharge that, if you can be of use to another person doing the things that you love to do and it's benefiting them, that is a supercharged life. That's when you get to go to work and not work a day in your life. That's rocket fuel. Then I had another mentor, Mr. Ito. Otis Elevator sent me to their quality school, and Mr. Ito came from Japan. And one of the things he taught was that the gold is in the problems. He said that if you can find a problem and solve it, you're just going to make more money off into the future. And I realized that when people make mistakes, they're actually doing you a favor because they're highlighting there's a problem with our system. You shouldn't blame the workers. You should blame the system. And when I got reflecting on Bob and the mistake he had made, he was actually using my system that ended up causing the mistake. But I yelled at Bob when I should have been yelling at myself for the crummy system I'd made that Bob was using. And then another mentor was Richio Shingo. Richio Shingo I met in Japan. I've been to Japan several times. Richio has passed away now, but he came to SnapCab and spent 3 days with us. He had founded and opened up 4 different Toyota plants in Europe, the US, and the last one was in China. His father was Shigeo Shingo, one of the architects of the Toyota production system. And just to put it in context, the big prize in the US for lean manufacturing is called the Shingo Prize, after Richio's father. And Richio pointed out to me that it's the employer's responsibility to not waste the lives of the employees. The employees come and spend their hours at our facilities, and people want to have purpose in their lives. And if you have people doing useless, wasted things with their hours, you're really wasting their life. So we want everyone to have a career path at SnapCab. We want them to have meaningful work, and we spend our time trying to get rid of waste in their processes so they're not like walking 20 feet to a bench, wasting time. When you could pull the benches together, they would be more happy, achieving more. And this idea of pulling benches together, it's just unlimited ways that you can have people work in a more more productive way. And hopefully they are working in work that they enjoy doing. And with those development meetings, they hopefully love what they're doing. That's our intention. I'm not saying it's happening with everybody 100% of the time, but that's what we're going for. And we keep going for that. Wouldn't you know it, Bob screwed up another job. He was working on an elevator for a job in Hawaii, and he screwed the job up and went to Hawaii, and the customer let them know that it had the wrong material in the job. So instead of blaming Bob, this time I went over and said, hey, Bob, that job had the wrong material on it. What happened? Obviously, we have a problem with our system. Can you help me with that? And he realized that he didn't peel back. We didn't have anything on the checklist to peel back a peel layer to see that the wrong metal was on the panel. So he came up with a checklist system. We still use it today. It saved us on countless jobs, not sending out more jobs that were done wrong. So I took new materials, sent Bob and his wife to Hawaii. He spent one day fixing the job, the rest of the week for an all-expense paid trip in Hawaii with his wife. What do you think was more inspiring for Bob? Being appreciated for coming up with a solution for my poor system and getting paid to go to Hawaii, or getting yelled at? So that's not really a question, but you can imagine we decided from that point forward to start rewarding people for mistakes. So this was really the start of a human business, was rewarding people for mistakes, knowing that they want to have life purpose, knowing to get up in the morning wanting to add value to other people. So I went from this old mindset of use their fear to control them, fear of loss of their reputation, loss of control, loss of potentially their job, to appreciating what they love, aligning what they love with the things that customers need, and aligning their loves with how they can help their coworkers. So I went from a me focus to an others focus. And this wasn't an easy thing to do, but on reflecting, I could really see that I was being selfish. I think this is one of the core things in business, is if you can get to the point where you can see what's going on outside of my own ego, and see what the situation really is. And I can just say, trying to empower other people is far more engaging for me, and have brought me far more happiness. So people say, well, how do you get started doing this human business? Well, I can tell you how I started doing the human business. What we did at the very beginning was, first of all, we had to get together as a leadership team and decide that we were going to have a human business, decide what the values were and how we were going to roll it out. And then we gave gift cards to the managers, and we said, go look for employees that are making mistakes and causing a problem. We're going to educate them on, it's not really a mistake, it's a turn back. We want to mistake-proof things, and look for somebody making a mistake. So once you know it, somebody makes a mistake, they get a gift card. So when they're normally be in fear, like, oh, I broke that, and the manager would say, oh, I didn't realize we could break that. We need to add more training around that. We need a better tool. And then that coworker would be out for dinner with their family, potentially going, hey, why are we out for dinner, Dad? Well, I helped highlight that we had a flaw in our system. Then they engaged me to work on the solution. We collaborated together, and we improved our company today. And I was given this gift card because I highlighted that we had this problem. So can you imagine if you came to work and the fear was lowered to the point where you feel like you can be vulnerable and share what's not going right with your management team? I can't tell you, it's unbelievable. So I just want to highlight our principles here. See what you can do to create a foundation of caring. That's number one. Understand what people love to do. Focus them on being useful, utilizing what they love to do. Embrace problems and weakness, reward for that, work around it. Get one employee that's willing to help another employee with their weaknesses, do those development meetings. And then it's easy to picture this all happening if you were picturing your business as a human body. How would your human body handle this situation? You have all these senses, you have all these different organs that do specialized things that collaborate together to do this focused thing called you. You're walking around, you've got your personality, you're doing your thing in the world, just like your company is doing its thing in the world. So thank you so much. I think we have one more poll here.
Yes, we do. So I'll start it now.
Okay.
And our poll is asking, considering your current work culture environment, how much do you think a human business model should improve your work life? And you got 3 choices. I'll give you another 10 seconds or so if everyone can put in your answer. Looks good. Okay, I'm going to end the poll. And there's the results.
Well, that's fantastic.
Looks good, Glenn.
Yeah. All right. I feel like my time was well utilized here. Well, thank you so much for sticking with me through this presentation. I can't tell you how happy I am to get to be in a position to present this material. It's something we've been experimenting at, and it's only been very recently that we've been bringing it outside of our company. And it just thrills me to get to share this information with you.
So Glenn, we do have a Q&A session now. I'd ask anyone if you've got some questions for Glenn, if you want to enter it into the Q&A session. I will get started and we can maybe read through a couple and you can give us an answer for it. But please feel free to go ahead and put your question in there. One of our first questions, how much buy-in do you need from your senior management to institute this way of thinking? Is there any tips on how I can present this?
You know, that's a good question. The way we do a lot of things is if you, well, it'd be better if I had the book because we cover that in the book. I would recommend giving them this presentation, asking them what they think, and ask them, what are the things that you think that would help get people more engaged? Do you think people having purpose at work is important? And I think there's some risk involved in like putting it out there, because I know a lot of people don't bring things to upper management. And I think you need to be kind of brave if you think this is important. You need to put it out there in a diplomatic way where you're asking them through like questions so they can come up with the answers, but you're hoping you'll all come to the same place. And you're allowing the leadership team to adopt this idea and bring it back to the company, not in a, don't try to be top down with the people going, with the people that are over your head, because that usually doesn't go well. But you want to just inform them and let them feel like they have a choice and they're educated, and then they can take this on for the company. And you can do this to some degree in your own departments. You don't need, I don't think you need managements. People are motivated by the people that manage them, and you can be carrying in your own department wherever you are.
So is this something that you would start with your management team, or do you bring kind of everybody in all together? Like, do you talk about it at the lower levels, or is it first, let's get the senior management on board and then we'll...
Oh, that's a really good question. Like we do lean manufacturing.
Right.
And the way we implemented lean manufacturing was finding just one department who wanted to try lean. We do 5S. It means organizing your tools and keeping things clean.
Yep.
And you might want to start with 3 or 4 people that want to buy in and practice doing it. And then you would have an example to show other people. And you can invite them in so they understand.
Great idea. I have a comment here from Paul Taylor, who's one of our board of director members at FPSC. He just says, great presentation, and I love the openness, Glenn. Have you ever connected with Paul Akers of FastCap? I see a lot of similarities in your approach, both culture and lean-wise with them. Well done.
I'll be seeing Paul in October. I'm going back to Japan. This will be my 4th Japan trip with Paul, and I've been to FastCap many times. And Paul was one of my first inspirations of A, making things simple, and B, investing in your employees with time for training and letting them improve things. So no, I know Paul Akers quite well.
Excellent. All right, we have another question here. To look at your business this way, does it require some sacrifices on your part in regards to your own home, work-life balance, that kind of thing?
I think it enhances your home life. Honestly, the reason I got to the first mentor was having problems in my marriage drove me to getting a mentor. And the mentor said, I can't help you with your marriage, but I can help you with you if you're interested. I think the sacrifice is being willing to really analyze your own thought process And am I always, just question, am I always rationalizing everything I have to say to make me seem right and others to seem wrong? Or are we trying to get at the real issue and we're all putting our egos aside?
Perfect. What does the human business mean to your customers?
The customers that are aware of it, we've collaborated with some really big companies, these major elevator companies. Our very best sales tool is when people come to tour SnapCab and they see how we operate. You see that we have quality systems around doing the work that we do, and they see that we have what the intention of the employees are, and they see the intention of the company, and they really buy in. And we're probably the most expensive elevator interior in the market, but we're also the largest in the market because they can see the value that they're getting, and we're not trying to cut corners, and we're not trying to get their business based on cost. We're getting it based on value.
Yep.
So we do regular tours every month. If anybody wants to tour SnapCab, go on one of our websites and sign up for a tour.
And I think that customers really like that. I think they like to have that human element to it, that's something that people take pride in what they're doing. And, and this is your whole idea is you're not working at a company that's just there to make money. You're there
right.
to actually make a life for yourself and
Right.
to, in the end run, enjoy what you're doing. But that reflects then again, I think very much so to your customers. And I've been to other companies that have that kind of same philosophy, and it is reflected in that. And I think customers enjoy that, being able to get that.
Absolutely. And they feel like they're probably getting value because the people are
I think
focused
so.
on taking care of them.
I think so. That's great. Another question. How onerous is it to fit each person to a job? What steps do you take to try and make this happen?
I would say the majority of the people that we hire onto the factory floor. Not all of them, like accounting, usually we don't start on the factory floor, but
right.
We start on the factory floor. People usually come here because of the company culture. They're interested in that. I can't tell you how many times people have said, I don't care what job I do. I just would like to be a part of this community, this work community that you have. I had a guy that applied and we put him in as a project manager, but it turned out had his whole background was in marketing. We weren't advertising for a marketer, but now he's managing our marketing at SnapCab. So they get in somehow, and then through these development meetings, we then place them at a better place in the company.
Yeah, and is it something that you do obviously you're not quite getting all of that just straight from reading their resume. So I'm assuming it takes a little time to get to know the person,
that's right.
and maybe kind of,
you don't get the
out
personality.
what they like and how, who they are and that kind of thing. So
right. That's right. You don't get what they like, who they are, what their personality is through a resume.
No.
So that's people wondered why we do the videos. It's because you can really see, like, would we like to work with this person or not?
I think that's a fabulous idea. I really enjoyed the video. Yeah, I think that's a great thing to do. And people these days are used to taking videos of themselves, so it wouldn't be such a big request, right? So
I think medium, right?
Yeah, I think so. Looks like we got our final question here. Do you encourage other peers or employers to utilize the human business?
I think, I'm 65 this year, and I'm trying to get the next leadership team to take over the daily operation completely at SnapCab. And my purpose in life would be to promote this to other people. I would, if anybody is interested in talking to me about the human business, contact me. I'm sure magically through this contraption I have in front of me, we can get connected. But I would like to make myself available to promote this idea.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for that. offer, and I'm sure some people will take you up on it. I've already seen in the chat that people are looking to come and do a tour at your
Great.
company. So I hope that works out. And yeah, I would like to come back and do a tour with you too as well.
It'd be awesome, Tracy.
Okay, so I guess this comes to the end of our webinar. Thank you very much, Glenn, for a very interesting and insightful presentation. I really enjoyed it, and this was actually the second time I've seen you do this, and I really enjoyed it the second time as much as I liked it the first time. So
Oh, great.
thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Everyone else, we will be sending the link to the webinar recording on our FBSC YouTube channel shortly, as well as a copy of the presentation. And Glenn has also given us some unique resources to include, such as Becoming a Human Business Handbook and the link to sign up to Glenn's upcoming book. So please keep an eye out for that message. And please join us again in August for our next Speaking Food webinar. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
Great. Thank you so much.